Good morning. My name is David Gwilt. Welcome to another edition of Thoughts for the Ages. A little disclaimer before we get started. Since the last vlog I did, I have shaved my beard, and also I had a little eye surgery done. The extra skin up here on the top of my eyes, Medicare was kind enough to pay for that, to have that removed. And while they were at it, I thought I'd have them try to remove some of the bags that were under my eyes. So it's only been about 5 weeks. We're not totally healed up, but we're making progress. And I've been told I look a week and a half younger than I did before. So that's all good news. All right, this morning, because I am recording this morning, I want to talk about drugs. Not the street drugs, but the drugs that are advertised on television. I will tell you, I didn't realize how sick I was until I saw these drug ads on TV. If you think you're healthy, and especially if you're over 65 and you think you're healthy, just watch some television for a while, and you'll start wondering if you need to ask your doctor about the plethora of drugs that are advertised. I'm going to give you some numbers. In 2020, 75% of the TV ad dollars were spent on drugs. 75% of the advertising dollars on television in 2020 were spent on drug advertising. In the mid-'80s is when drugs were first allowed to be advertised on TV, and ibuprofen was actually one of the first drugs that was advertised. There's about 80 drugs that are advertised on TV today, about 80 drugs. And 75% of those, however, are low benefit. So they really don't do a lot to improve your quality of life, but they do a lot to line the pockets of the drug companies. Only the United States and New Zealand are allowed to advertise drugs on television. Only two countries, United States and New Zealand. And, most of our drugs that are sold in this country are made in China and Mexico, and I forget there's one other country, but they're not, the majority of those drugs are not made in the United States. And I was watching, there was a new drug on TV the other day called, Sutitsu or, whatever. I have to look them up to see what they're supposedly for. I take some medications. I take a blood pressure med, I think, and I take what else do I take? A cholesterol med. I mean, not a lot of stuff, a baby aspirin for, keep my blood thinner. But the biggest selling drug ever, I would have guessed it was, something for ED. That would have been my guess, but way wrong. It's not even in the top 5. Humira, I guess. It's for rheumatoid arthritis. That is the biggest selling drug on that they advertise. Biggest selling drug of all types is Humira for rheumatoid arthritis. Now, most of these ads are directed toward the 65 plus crowd, and that makes sense because most of our medical needs are in the later stages of our lives, not in the early stages. And so they also realize that older Americans watch television more than the younger folks do. Younger folks are busy living their lives and grabbing stuff on podcasts maybe, or everything that's on the internet. But they're not sitting around watching a lot of television. Older folks are. They're more sedentary, and they're spending more time in front of the TV. And so the more I watch these ads, the sicker I feel. So I'm like, maybe I should check with my doctor. And I get what's going on. It's just like, car companies advertise cars, and they don't actually talk about the car and how wonderful the car is, how long it lasts and the gas mile. They don't do that. They try and give you an image of how you're going to feel. So you feel young and energetic, and this is how you feel with this car. This is how, you watch a beer commercial. You don't see overweight people with big beer. You don't see guys with big old beer guts in a beer commercial. Everybody is youthful. Everybody looks good. The women are all attractive. The guys are all attractive. They're all having fun. No one is isolating and drinking themselves to death in their closet. It's all good times. And drug companies target that 65 plus crowd. And, folks are sitting there watching TV, and let's say they have a little ache in their back or their legs bothering them, and they see some ad for restless leg syndrome. And they go, oh, I got to talk to my doctor. I probably need that drug. And so the direct-to-consumer ads, the DTC is what they call the direct-to-consumer advertising for drugs, they put it in your mind that this is what I need. I need, Smith drug. And so now you go to your doctor and you say, hey, doc, do I need this Smith drug? Because I think I have the symptoms that I hear advertised on television. And the doctor may not even know about the drug. So he does some research on it. And then maybe, a week later, the drug rep comes in talking to the doctor saying, you ought to get this Smith drug because, it helps people with, restless leg syndrome. And so now the doctor starts to order some samples and then he gives it to the patient because the patient thinks that they need it. And now the patient starts taking the drug and says, hey, doc, I feel better. So the doc says, oh, it must work. So he starts prescribing, or she starts prescribing this medication to the patients that are coming in with this same symptoms in this case, we're just, for example, saying restless leg syndrome. That's how the whole game works. So if you put in someone's mind often enough that this drug will solve this issue, and then as a consumer, you think, I've got a little bit of that issue. Maybe I ought to check this thing out and my life will be better. It's like driving a certain car. Your life is going to be better. You wear the certain cologne. Your life is better. You drink the light beer. Your body looks buffed up. It's all putting it in the consumer's mind of what's supposed to work. So the point of this whole message is that don't imagine that you have all these illnesses just because you see a drug that's advertised for it. And the other thing that drives me crazy is some of the, they have to put all these disclaimers in. I mean, they're required by law to put all the disclaimers in when they talk about a drug. And so they'll say things like, if you're allergic to this drug, don't take it. Well, how the heck do I know if I'm allergic to the drug unless I take it? Or may cause, and there's a whole list of things, and hidden in there somewhere is sudden death. You go, oh yeah, well, probably won't happen to me. So, I guess I could take that drug. For my money, no. If I think that I have a new ache or pain or something, I may go into the doctor and talk to him about it and say, okay, this is what's going on. What do you think? I don't go in and say, I saw this drug advertised on TV, this Smith drug, and I think I need that drug. I think I will feel better. My life will be better. I'll feel younger and more energetic. My performance, and she'll be happy too. You hear all those crazy ads on TV all the time for that stuff. And I laugh every time. It's like, come on, I guess there's a so-called sucker born every day. That's what P.T. Barnum said. And so they keep pushing that stuff. Do yourself a favor. Don't buy into all the advertising on TV for drugs. The drug companies are getting rich off this stuff. If you really have a medical condition, ask your doctor that you trust about the condition, about the symptoms you're having, and ask the physician what they suggest. You don't need to take that brainwashing that you have from the TV commercial into your doctor and say, I need this Smith drug, and help the drug companies sell that. You really want to trust your physician and let them decide what's best for you. You don't need all the latest and greatest drugs. And again, keep in mind, 75% of the drugs that you see advertised the most on TV have a very minimal beneficial effect. My name is David Gwilt. You can check out all of my information at davidagwilt.com. That's my website. Please send me a comment if there's a topic you'd like to hear more about. And again, this is Thoughts for the Ages. Thank you very much for listening. And don't buy all the advertising that you hear on TV, okay? Do yourself a favor. Stay healthy.